Welcome back to the channel. In this tutorial we'll see how to draw a bangle with an infinity or Möbius shape. Open Rhino's front view and draw a circle with its center at the origin, meaning 0. Set the diameter to 80 millimeters. Then highlight the starting point of this curve. It's a circle, so the starting point and the end point coincide. I select that point and the circle and rotate them by -90 degrees to move the starting point and the end point vertically. I'll measure the length of this curve. I'll copy the value. Then I draw a line. I'll set the same length as the circumference. Then I'll draw a rectangle for the center using the rounded option. The center of the rectangle is here at this vertex of the line. The first value is 5 millimeters, the second is 20, and the radius is 1. I'll construct a single rail sweep. The line is the rail and the rectangle is the sweep. I confirm by pressing Enter twice. This is the result. Making sure that record history and update children are enabled and switching to wireframe view for clarity, I use the twist command. I select this object, press Enter, and choose the twist axis, the first end of the line and the second end of the line. I use the infinity option No. I set the twist angle to 360 degrees and obtain this object. I deform this object onto the circle. Use the Flow Along Curve command. I switch to wireframe view again for clarity, and I select this object, press Enter, choose the base curve, the line, choose this destination curve, the circle. I obtain my bracelet. As you can see, this is the effect. I disable Update Children. I select the bracelet and the starting object and move them laterally by -150 millimeters. I make a second version of the object and create a new one rail sweep. This is the track, this is the sweep. I confirm. I switch to wireframe view and use the twist command again. This is the object. confirm with enter. The axis is the line, and I set infinite option to yes, while the axis, and apply 360 degrees as before, and I get this object. It's clear that these two objects are similar but not identical. Why? Because the infinite option applies the twist along the entire length of the axis. I bend the object onto the circle with flow along curve tool. This object, I switch to wireframe for clarity. This is the base curve, and this is still the destination curve. You can appreciate the difference between the two objects. It's more visible directly on the bracelet. In the first example, with infinite no, we have a straight line. While in the second case, there is no straight line. The curvature is continuous. Let's move these two objects by minus 250. That's too little, so I undo and move them by minus 350. Let's do another example. Let's create 2 points on the ends of the line. Then I select this point and lower it by minus 15 millimeters. Then I'll select this other point and raise it by plus 15 millimeters. I'll activate the point OSNAP. I'll build a new single rail sweep as I did previously. This is the object I got. I switch to wireframe view for greater clarity and repeat the twist command. I select the object, confirm, then I define the axis no longer along the line, but from the bottom point to the top point. Infinite set to no, angle 360 degrees. I switch again to shaded. You can already tell from this object that the twist has had no effect from the first point to the other point down. Let's see the effect on the bracelet. I switch to wireframe again. Flow along curve this object. Confirm. Choose the line as the base curve and choose the circle as the destination curve. Switch again, switch back to shaded. You can see the result is different from the other two. In the first case, the curvature is continuous. In the second, this one, we have a straight part in the middle, and in this case, the third example, the straight section increases. This is used, for example, in case of ornaments, sculptures, or other that have this type of shape to provide a support surface. If we want to take the Möbius type example to the extreme, for a sculpture rather than a bracelet, we can create an object of this type. I copy the circle. Here outside this workspace. I'm going to modify the shape of this object, the circle. For this example, I won't give specific measurements, but I'll simply demonstrate the process. I'm going to draw, for example, a horizontal line. I use it as a cutting object. I'll apply a fillet, for example, of 20 millimeters. And I get this object. At this point, I'll measure the length of this curve, which has changed compared to the circle, the original circle. I copy the value and I draw a vertical line of the same length as this curve. I draw the rectangle as before, for the center with the rounded option on. The measurements are 521. I'm going to create a single rail sweep. Confirm by hitting twice enter. Okay. I'm hiding the object just for a while, so I can bring out the ends, the extreme points of my objects, the line, I mean. Left click is this point and right click the other point. This is an alternative method to drawing the extreme points. I lower this point by a greater value than the previous example to make it more visible, say minus 20 millimeters. And I raise this other point by plus 20 millimeters. Show the hidden object, switch to wireframe, and grab twist command again, select the object, enter. The axis is from the first point to the second point, and the infinite is set to no, and the angle is 360 degrees. Then flow along curve this object. The base curve is the line, of course, and the target, the destination curve is this curve. As you can see, I've obtained an object with a much larger flat base. I'm not really happy with this result, so I go back a step and place the starting point in the middle of this object. So I show the starting point, which is this one, and I understand why the result is not beautiful. So I want to I grab the CRV sim command, and I drag this point with mid OSNAP on to the middle of my object. I can delete this point. If I check again, this time the point, the end point, and the start point are exactly in the middle of the object. So I go back to my object, I flow it along curve. The base curve is the line. The destination curve is this one. It's clear now that the object is correctly aligned and that the flat support base is suitable for keeping the object standing on a flat surface, for instance. So that's all. See you soon.